really important that we begin to change the mindset of young people to know that your vote counts.
They don't understand that the legislative arm of government is actually a co-equal arm of government.
We have an incredible amount of potential.
Whatever it is I was doing, because of my personal DNA, it had to be of an international standard, which is what, seriously speaking, is all about.
Welcome to the show today. Just a few weeks ago, we're celebrating fathers around the world. You know what the World Wide Web has done to us? Things are done internationally and we just follow suit. I know my husband complains all the time that there's so many Mother's Days. How many Father's Day do we have? One. While we're celebrating Father's Day, on my mind were two recent occurrences that made me realize, where are the fathers? So in celebrating fathers today, I wanted a conversation around this issue. Now, there was a case of young men attempting, as they say, to rape girls after school was over. And there was a recent case also of a kidnapper who has children and was publicly declared. And we saw the children. And I'm wondering, who are the role models? What kind of role models exist for our young men, especially against the backdrop of the fact that there's a lot of training and raising and empowering of our young girls? But what kind of men will they pair up with in future? So today on the show, we are speaking about where are the fathers? Don't go away.
Well, yes, he is. He is, yeah. One of my role models. Well, basically, was first of all, the person that brought me to this world. So definitely, you look up to someone who was to father someone is not that easy. So bringing someone to this world and taking up that responsibility, first of all, is a major thing. And then, well, secondly, he's more or less made me who I am today. He more or less made me who I am today. Yes, I have other people I look up to, but he will always be my number one person. He's because of him, I'm standing here today. So basically, he's everything, actually.
Oh, wow. I mean, it can't be understated, the role of a father in the life of a boy child, because, I mean, it's easy. I mean, look at today, there's so many distractions in life, and right now, for kids who do not have that fatherly figure to direct them, to guide them, to help them with the decisions that they make, it's easy to just fall by the wayside, lose your focus, and end up not amounting to what you were destined to be. So I think it's very important to have a father.
Yes, my father was my role model.
Why?
Actually, from childhood, I grew up with my dad telling me his story, how he grew up, started from a village boy, worked himself through school. As in, did a lot of things to get to where he got to eventually in life. And each time he would sit me down, my brothers, my sisters, and myself, and they would advise us, tell us about life. And tell us about life, and then he did a lot of repetition, kept on hammering on certain issues of life, things we'll face later in life. And now I'm an adult, a father myself, and I realized those things he told me were actually true, because I've seen them manifest several times over and over. And I think the advice he gave me prepared me for what I grew up to meet.
Now, to situate this, I'd played that little video for you to understand people's perception of who their father really is. At the end of the next 25 minutes or so, my discussions will help you to understand exactly what fatherhood is, what expectations are, and what the problem is, as well as how we can solve it. So it's my pleasure to begin by introducing, well, now not so young, a young man I met about 11 years ago when he invited me to a conference all the way in Ajegunle. For me, that was all the way in Ajegunle in Lagos, talking about sex with the young ones. Sex to Sex was what he called the conference, and he invited me to it. But I'm very pleased to see how far he has come to become what I call a family engineer, teaching families how to be better at the job that they do raising kids. It's my pleasure to welcome on set, on Seriously Speaking today, Praise Fowowe.
So this why it's nice being here.
So you're no more a small boy. Your wife has fed you fat.
Yeah, but I'm still your boy, you know.
You still are, but your wife must be proud of the kind of man that you are. Where did you role model yourself? Because you're a father of a son and a daughter.
Yes.
And I know that they watch you carry plates, do all sorts of things, wash clothes.
Yeah.
How did you end up being that kind of person?
Well, I've always asked questions all my life. I remember way back when I was growing up, I mean, I never saw my dad do all those things. Of course, he did some other things that I thought groomed me for who I have become today.
So it was your own primary role model?
Oh, yeah. I mean, but there were things I started asking. I started asking questions about why is it that women are the only ones who cook? Why is it that only women are the only ones who wash plates? And I saw my mom toil and toil and toil. But interestingly, my mom put me in the kitchen. My mom taught me how to fix everything, including pastries while growing up. You know, so as I started growing around, I saw the African fathers, I saw what I saw around me, and I didn't quite like it. So I started asking myself, Praise, what can you do differently? Then it occurred to me that the most important nation on earth is actually your family, because the family is the production factor of the society.
Absolutely.
So I said to myself, okay, Praise, so over time I'd interviewed a lot of people who were running the kind of family that I thought were role model families. You know, I've learned their principles. So I said, okay, if I get a marriage, I'm going to practice this. Interestingly, I now got a woman who was as crazy as I was way back. And so we said to ourselves, okay, you know what? For this family, we had never seen any family have a family vision, family values. We're going to create a family vision. We're going to
decide to put it down.
Yeah, we put it down. So if you get to my house up till now, as you step into my house, the first thing you see is a family vision. You see our family values. So we have created a family constitution. We created all kinds of governing systems around our home, right? And when my friends started coming in, after this was about 3 years into the marriage, they started saying, and they were like, oh, Praise, can you teach us how you did this? Can you teach us how you... And that was how we started training people on how these things work, to say that a system is never emotional. The moment the system is emotional, it affects the final output. The challenge we've had over time is people are bigger than the system in their family. So nobody can call you to others. So you see a man who is rigging election in the family, in the state, right? And people don't know that he's been rigging election from his family.
Okay, you talk about the experience of your father having taught you some basic things. That's what I mean, I'd like you to talk about that. That you can't take a penny because your father taught you never to take a penny.
My dad conditioned me not to steal because my father would put a coin on his table and use a pencil to circle it. Then he will send you to his room. My father is not going to kill you for stealing the money. He's going to kill you for moving it out of the circle. He calls it attempted stealing. By the time he's finished vlogging you, he will now ask you to bring your pocket, ask you to pull it out. Then he will say to you, when you steal what is not yours, it tears your pocket, such that when you begin to make your money, it never stays.
So Anna stayed with you?
It stayed with me.
Okay.
My father taught me never to go late for meetings. He would say to me, Praise, it's better they're waiting for you. I mean, it's better you are waiting for them than for them to be waiting for you. So it's arrogance, right? So those were basic things that my father taught me, right? And I literally picked them from. So when I started doing business and I'll take money from a client and maybe there is a leftover, I'll take it there to say, hey, can you take your, and he's looking at me wondering, are you a pastor? You know, where is this coming from? But it was my dad.
So what I'm saying, I would like to take a break here so I can introduce the other father I'm going to speak with. But the point you've made here is that your father, no matter what it is, determines at least the moral values that you live by.
Yes.
And that could help you go on and on.
Absolutely.
But again, what I see is that father was present in your life.
He was not totally present, but, well, because my dad he was everywhere traveling, but the quality time he spent was memorable for me.
So I'll be right back with my next guest. Thank you very much for the first few minutes, but let me engage my next guest for another few minutes before we begin to iron this thing out thoroughly. So we'll be right back with my next guest, if you don't go away.